Here's something wild. Most people think they're making conscious choices every day, but science says 95% of your thoughts, emotions and behaviours are being run by your subconscious mind. That means your habits, your fears, your confidence, even how much success you allow yourself to have, it's all coming from programs you didn't even choose. So the question isn't, how do I change my life? It's, who's really in control, me or my programming? Your subconscious mind is like a silent operating system. It's always running in the background, storing every experience, every emotion, every belief you've ever accepted is true. From childhood, every time someone told you what you could or couldn't do, your subconscious took notes. Every embarrassment, every failure, every moment of pride, it all got recorded. And over time, those recordings became patterns. Now, when you wake up, you don't decide to check your phone, you just do it. You don't choose to get defensive when criticised, it happens automatically. That's your subconscious in action. It's not evil, it's efficient. Its job is to automate your life so your conscious mind can focus on what's new. But here's the problem. It doesn't know the difference between helpful programming and harmful programming. So if you've been repeating thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I always mess things up, your subconscious takes that as instructions and builds your life around it. Psychologically, the subconscious mind forms through conditioning. Repetition and emotions create neural pathways that become default responses. You don't consciously decide to fear failure. Your brain learned at some point that failure equals pain. So every time you try something new, your subconscious triggers anxiety to protect you from repeating that pain. That's why most people live on autopilot. They're not lazy, they're programmed. Freud described this as the mind's hidden machinery. Modern psychology calls it implicit memory. Stoics called it the untrained mind, the part of us that reacts without wisdom. And that's where Stoicism gets it right. You can't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. That view is your programming, your subconscious interpretation of reality. Two people can face the same event, but their inner conditioning determines who grows and who crumbles. The subconscious isn't logical, it's emotional. It doesn't care what's true, it only cares what's familiar. If you've lived most of your life feeling like success is hard or that love always leads to pain, that emotional baseline becomes your comfort zone, even if it hurts. So when you start changing your habits, trying to build wealth, confidence, or new relationships, your subconscious pushes back. The resistance you feel isn't proof you're failing, it's proof you're changing. Marcus Aurelius called the resistance the obstacle to the way. In modern psychology, it's called cognitive dissonance, the clash between your old self-image and the new one you're trying to create. The Stoics trained for this through awareness and repetition. They didn't suppress thoughts, they observed them, they questioned them, they refused to let emotions become commands. Every time you pause and ask, why did I react like that? Or what belief is this emotion protecting? You're stepping outside your programming. You're no longer being run by the thought, you're watching it. That awareness alone starts rewiring your brain. In neuroscience, it's called neuroplasticity. Every time you respond differently, choose calm instead of anger, courage instead of fear, you're forming a new neural pathway. That's how your subconscious learns new patterns, not by force, but by consistent observation and conscious redirection. This is where teachers like Bob Proctor and Dr. Dispenza take the Stoic foundation and bridge it with science. Bob Proctor called your subconscious conditioning a paradigm, the mental blueprint that controls your behaviour and results. You can set all the goals you want, but if your paradigm says, I don't deserve success, you'll always find a way to prove yourself right. Dispenza takes it a step further. He says, You can't change your life from the same level of consciousness that created it. In other words, as long as you think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and act the same way, you're stuck in the same reality loop. Breaking that loop means changing your state of being. You start by thinking greater than you feel. You visualize who you want to become, not as wishful thinking, but as a mental rehearsal. The brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and experience. It fires the same neural patterns. Over time, those new patterns become your new subconscious default. So the Stoics gave us the mindset, science gave us the method, and together they show us one powerful truth. You don't have to be ruled by your past. Every time you observe your thoughts instead of obeying them, every time you choose intention over impulse, you're reshaping your subconscious and reclaiming control over your life. Because once your subconscious starts working for you instead of against you, you stop fighting yourself. And that's when life stops being a struggle and starts becoming flow. So let me ask you, what's one belief or story that's been running your life from the background that you're finally ready to rewrite? Drop it in the comments, because the moment you name it, you take its power away, and that's where real self-mastery begins.